is about the song, Have Thine Own Way, Lord. This song was written in 1907 by a woman named Adelaide Pollard. Adelaide was born in Iowa during the Civil War, and she grew up to become a teacher. She moved to Chicago when she became an adult and became a teacher at an all-girls school, where in Chicago she ended up joining a ministry that she felt drawn to by the Lord. However, this ministry had several struggles, one of which was financial problems. At first, it started off very strong, and they had quite a bit of progress, but over time, the leadership in this ministry kind of collapsed it, unfortunately. However, Adelaide did not allow this to dissuade her. She continued persisting in the ministry, and she went and joined another ministry when she moved to New England, where she had more success than in Chicago. However, during this ministry in New England, she felt the Lord drawing her to a mission trip in Africa. However, once again, financial hardship prevented her from going and performing that mission trip. However, around this time in her life, she was in her 40s, when she attended an evening prayer meeting. And at this prayer meeting, she had made her distresses known to this group. And there was an elderly woman who was praying for her. And one of the lines in her prayer, she said, "God, have your own way." And this prayer really resonated with Adelaide. That evening, she went home and she studied the story of the potter and the clay. And afterwards, she wrote the lyrics to the song, Have Thine Own Way, Lord. Despite her struggles in the ministry, she continued to persist. And however it wasn't the way that she wanted or felt led, God still used her to create one of the most beloved invitational hymns that we have today. Later in Adelaide's life, she did eventually make it to Africa for her missionary trip. However, because of the onset of World War I, she had to flee back to America, where she continued to write poetry and more hymns, as well as minister where she could, until the end of her life. When she was in her 70s, she went to New York and she bought a train ticket to go to Pennsylvania to help with another ministry. However, before she even got on the train, she was struck with a seizure and she died shortly after. Despite the struggles that Adelaide went through in her attempts to follow Christ and to work for him in her own way, Christ still used her in his own way. And we can see that from the lyrics of the song. So thank you. Let's pray.